The Council of the People's Deputies was the name given to the government of the November Revolution in Germany from November 1918 until February 1919. During this period, the main achievements of the Council were the organization of the armistice with the Allies on the 11th of November 1918, the Reichsrätekongress from 16 to the 20th of December 1918, and the preparation for the elections for the National Assembly on the 19th of January 1919. The Council also reformed the system of suffrage and extended the right to vote to German women for the first time. Establishment and operation. The Council was formed on the 10th of November 1918 after the November Revolution had swept away the old order. It was established after several thousand revolutionary workers and soldiers' councils had assembled at Circus Busch in Berlin. Their election or appointment had been initiated the day before by the actions of the Revolutionär Obleut, leaders of the workers who had seized the Reichstag building. This had happened against the will of the leadership of the Social Democrats, led by Friedrich Ebert, who had been appointed Chancellor on the 9th of November. Unable to prevent the assembly, Ebert's Social Democrats were able to co-opt the process and ensure that many of the delegates came from among their own supporters. In addition, Ebert managed to convince the more radical independent Social Democrats to join him in a unified socialist government containing 3 of their members. Thus a coalition between the Social Democratic Party of Germany and the Independent Social Democratic Party of Germany made up the Council. Until the 29th of December 1918 there were 3 members from the SPD and 3 from the USPD. Emil Barth, Ebert and Haas were joint chairmen. The members of the Council had no official portfolios, but Ebert was responsible for military and interior affairs. Since they had no parallel civil service, the Council had to rely on the existing bureaucracy. When the last imperial chancellor, Prince Max of Baden, had handed the office of Reichskanzler to Ebert on the 9th of November, all the secretaries of state of the Baden cabinet had initially remained in the positions, although Ebert soon replaced some of them with members of the SPD, some senior civil servants, like Heinrich Scheuch. The Prussian Minister of War Wilhelm Solf at the Foreign Office lasted for weeks or months in office, at least nominally. The Council was formally in charge of the government when the armistice ending World War I was signed on the 11th of November 1918. However, Matthias Erzberger, the German envoy, had in fact been sent to negotiate with the Allies in the forest of Compiègne on the 6th of November by Chancellor Max of Baden. Before the latter's resignation on the 9th of November, the telegram instructing Erzberger to sign on the 10th of November was sent after a meeting of the old Reichsregierung, originally set up under Prince Max and now chaired by Chancellor Ebert before the Council of the People's Deputies had even been created. On the 12th of November 1918, the Council issued a proclamation and Das Deutsche Volk. It announced the following 9 points. The state of emergency is lifted. The rights of assembly and association are not subject to any limit. This also applies to civil servants. There is no censorship. Censorship of theatrical plays is abolished. Freedom of expression in speech and writing. Freedom of religion. Amnesty for all political prisoners. Political trials are discontinued. The Gesetz über den Vaterlandischen Hilfsdienst is repealed. Gesetzesordnung and special laws for agricultural workers are repealed. The rules for the protection of workers rescinded at the start of the war are restored. The proclamation went on to promise further social reforms. By the 1st of January 1919 at the latest, the 8-hour workday was to be introduced. The government also promised to do everything to provide sufficient work. A scheme of unemployment assistance that would distribute the burden between Reich, state and municipality was in the works. The earnings ceiling for health insurance would be raised. The lack of housing would be alleviated through supply of housing. The government would work towards securing regular nutrition for the people. It would strive to keep up orderly production and protect property against private infringement, as well as personal freedom and safety. Future elections, including that for the Constituent Assembly, were to be held under a franchise that would be equal, secret, direct and universal, based on proportional representation, and open to all men and women aged 20 and above. On the 15th of November 1918, the Council appointed Hugo Prius as State Secretary of the Interior and asked him to write a draft of a new Republican Constitution. The Council passed the Verordnung über die Wahlensverfassung der Deutschen Nationalversammlung, the law governing the upcoming elections for a National Assembly, on the 30th of November 1918. This codified the changes to the suffrage announced earlier. For the first time in Germany, suffrage was extended to women. The council also organized the Reichsrätekongress, which met at the Preußisches Abgeordnetenhaus at Leipziger Platz in Berlin from 16 to the 20th of December, 1918. By majority vote, this assembly decided to bring forward the elections to a National Assembly to the 19th of January 1919 and refused a USPD proposal to assume supreme, legislative and executive power. However, it also passed a resolution known as Hamburger Punkte that emphasized some key revolutionary demands that were anathema to the military. Supreme military command to be with the Council of the People's Deputies, disciplinary authority to reside with the soldiers' councils, election of officers, no rank insignia and no observance of military rank off duty. On the 18th of December 1918, the Council decided in principle to socialize suitable industries. No concrete steps in this direction were taken, however, as the SPD members were not keen on any initiatives that were likely to further disrupt the strained food supply and negatively affect industrial productivity. The Council had its hands full with demobilizing and reintegrating 18 million soldiers, withdrawing 3 million of them over the Rhine and ensuring a sufficient supply of coal and food to last the winter. Moreover, there were threats to the Reich's integrity from separatist movements in the Rhineland and from Polish territorial expansion. On the 29th of December 1918, the USPD pulled out of the Council. The main point of contention was the military action the government had just taken on 24 December against revolting soldiers of the Reichsmarine Division. This had happened as a result of the Ebert-Groener Pact between Friedrich Ebert and Wilhelm Groener of the Military High Command. However, there had been talk even before the fighting on Christmas about an impending resignation of the USPD representatives. The vacancies on the council were filled out with 2 more SPD members, Gustav Nosk and Rudolf Wissel. Although there were no portfolios, Nosk was in charge of the military and Wissel of economic affairs. For that point on, the council's external communications were signed Reichsregierung rather than Rat der Volksbeauftragten. The government organized elections for a National Assembly on the 19th of January 1919, and on the 13th of February 1919, the council ceased to exist and formally gave up power to the newly created government of Minister-President Scheidmann. Scheidmann had been appointed by Friedrich Ebert, who in turn had been elected the first temporary president of Germany by the National Assembly. Members of the council